6:30, we'll bring the August 21st Commission Workshop to order. If you all stand for the invocation. Byron, would you mind?
Most gracious God, as we come out and discuss this budget, God, just give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, God, that we can make the best decisions for this city. And God, we just thank you for your grace and your mercy, how you protected this city all these years. In your sweet holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Jenny.
Mayor Jamison.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jones.
Here.
Commissioner James. F. Commissioner Lavin.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
At this point in time, this is a presentation of proposed 18-19 budget for the following: Public Works, Water Fund.
We are going to do that. We're going to do that last because Rodney is not going to be here. So what we're going to do is do CRA first, then Farmers Market, and then Fire, and then we'll do Public Works.
Okay. You're up, young lady. Rock and roll.
It's going to be in the back, isn't it?
Yeah, okay, so just to give a summary, the things that we're looking at in terms of major projects, we've got $20,000 proposed for Market Pavilion enhancements, $65,000 for Community Resource Center, $65,000 for workforce and affordable housing.
Where is this showing on here?
That's the summary sheet on the back page.
76.
I got you. Okay. Page 76. Okay.
Okay.
And so $47,500 for downtown parking sidewalks project, and $92,797 for the lighting and street furniture, and then $3,000 for updated computer and with graphics and Adobe software.
Any questions?
I have a question on the other expenditures or operating revenues. We had a conversation again with the county commission regarding the CRA building and the fact that the city office is going to be using part of that space, and we have to show this equalization of rent income in this budget because I need to present this to these county commissioners. So I'm going to meet with Mr. Booth in the morning, but I know you said you would do something at the end of the year, but we need to have it more concrete because Mr. Barnes is going down there. He was down there again last Tuesday night making allegations that we bought a city building with our CRA money and what our intention was. Okay.
Yeah, actually, Christina brought it to our attention this morning.
Okay.
And we are going to actually have a lease agreement written up by the attorneys for the space that's being rented until we can get the Maximus study. Then we may do a budget amendment.
Sure.
But we're going to take the area that the PDC is using and versus the whole building. When you do that, you don't do it like plumbing.
No, I know that.
It's just their office space, and then we'll get the attorneys to write up a lease agreement, and it'll be, what will happen is it'll reduce,
I know how you'll do it at the end of the year bookkeeping wise, but we just need to show that in this budget, this preliminary budget, and then have something to take to them. Sure. Because that is something all three of them said something to us yesterday.
Well, so one of the things is too that the general fund will be paying the utilities, which I have to find out about this. They currently pay the utilities for the CRA. The CRA cannot pay utilities, but there's got to be an offset. Now I've got to look into this. Like I said, Christina told me this morning that we need to get it. So we're gonna, because there's water, right, city bill, and there's Duke Energy bill.
Right.
So I don't know how that will work, whether they can offset each other. I'm gonna have to,
Okay.
you and I are gonna have to look into that.
And I reached out to a local realtor, and she's going to get me a rate for you on the square footage on the current rental in this market for commercial, so you have a good, reasonable number to work with, okay? Because we have to go with current market rate, so we don't have that, as become an issue. I'll forward that information to you when she gets it to me.
Yeah, and
We did a study here not long ago for the Catholic Charities, and so we know the current
Okay.
going rate for square footage for rentals.
I think we have to incorporate the whole county. I'm thinking,
Okay.
not just a rental here. I think we need to, there's actually a formula out there that you use, so.
Okay.
Go ahead and send that
Right.
forward to
Just so
me,
you have real
and then I'll
numbers.
get with Mr. Booth and Christina, and we'll get something. But again, we gotta make sure that the utilities that the city side's paying can possibly offset that.
Right. So, okay, because we have to reflect that.
Mhm.
He wants to see this when we're done with it. Okay.
Workforce and affordable housing. Explain that.
We're looking to partner with the Community Land Trust Group and other agencies throughout the county. And so this will allow us to kind of bridge that gap. Like, we're hoping that, donating lots or forming partnerships in other ways may help make that happen. But for example, there may be needs for additional lighting or sidewalks or infrastructure or impact fees or something. So that's just there to kind of, help fill that gap and make that happen.
Any other questions? Still looking.
And we break the salaries down by administrative versus, which that's it.
I know that. I know that.
Just I want to make sure everybody realizes that.
So what is this community resource zone?
That is another project. Commissioner Lavin and I met the other day with the commissioners. They were very excited to hear that we're looking at doing something on a smaller scale of the Swag Center. We currently have a pantry over behind ACE that does like $400,000 worth of services each year. It's, she does a tremendous job with very limited resources, and the funding is starting to wane. And so we're working with United Way to help keep the programs alive, but they need an additional facility so that they have space for refrigeration and freezer and privacy and different things that they have to do to meet their standards. So we were talking about, having like a community resource center that would combine these things, and perhaps also like a Boys and Girls Club. So we see it as kind of like, a multi-purpose facility, but it would, continue to provide those services and hopefully in close proximity to the Douglas neighborhood and the park area.
Commissioner Hutchinson was flabbergasted when we showed him the numbers that St. Madeline's is doing. He said, they're not getting any public money. We don't give them any money. And I said, I know, they're serving over 2,500 families in Alachua County, and we've been helping them by giving them, free rent. And he said to Christine and I, there is money for us to do more centers like the Swag Center. We want to do something like that. You need to bring that to us. So I think that we've opened that door, and that our need for St. Madeline's, the need for the after-school programs, the teen programs, could possibly be encompassed with county funding versus us trying to piece it all together ourselves, So all three of them were very, very positive about that particular piece of us looking at doing a community resource.
Farmers market?
Yeah, just real quickly, there's not a lot of change. Carol does a great job with the grant, and, of course, the Market Pavilion should be coming online, hopefully relatively quickly. So
Write that down.
Relatively is better.
We've gone through 8 iterations of that.
Right.
Christina
Now I'm
says.
ready is.
Relatively quickly.
Right.
So it looks like we've cut those hours for the farmer's market manager by some. What are we doing, like 10 hours a week? Is that what she gets paid?
A little bit more than 10, but it kind of depends on how the market is doing.
Mhm.
Because her salary has been kind of based on her. That she has been, this last 2-3 months, it's really picked up. And so, I think last period she had a little bit more, but it's like 24 hours, 12 hours a week.
Okay, so she gets paid hourly. It's not like it used to be where it was
No.
based on the amount of stalls, et cetera. Okay, she's an employee, I know that. Okay, okay. The other thing I see is she's not using this money that she has for promotional advertising of the market because she has money there and she hasn't used very much this year.
yeah, and I know in the past that they had some, I don't know if it was Visit Gainesville, there was another entity, or maybe it was even the Fab group that had given additional money for marketing, and they're still using a lot of the stuff that they had used in the past, so there really hasn't been anything new since I've been here. But
What happens to that money if it doesn't get used?
That money's not getting used. The Fab and there's because they just gave us, bought us all up, and now they're basically giving us $2,500 every 9 months and stuff, and now we've got them to where they're gonna reimburse us now, I think it's either monthly or quarterly, it's in the email, but, that's been, helping us out with that a lot, so we haven't had to we've been using their resources.
Okay, and so money that comes from like this grant, or that is the grant that you're talking about, the revenues, okay. And you haven't had excess at the end of the year that goes into any kind of fund, or does that stay in the farmer's market fund?
Oh, no.
It all stays in the
It all
farm,
stays in.
okay.
Anything else? You have anything else? Thank you.
Okay, glasses,
You can use
okay.
mine.
Well,
Thank you.
all right.
What's next? What's next?
Let's do the fire department.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Yeah.
Good evening. So the budget that's in front of you is obviously it's the fire department budget, but it's the budget for BLS services with the new FTE positions to full-time positions with those personnel that we made the adjustments on the fire assessment with. There is an error on the page with staffing wages, not a big deal. The money's right, but where the positions are, it needs to reflect 9 full-time firefighters and 0 part-time. That correction will be made. Outside of that, the numbers are good in that budget. We're into a little bit of a brick wall with the county. Mr. Booth is working with the county manager now trying to get that rectified. And while that's going on, we felt it was best just to present the BLS numbers, actually what we were going to start the year with, and we can come back with an adjustment if we can get some things worked out mid-year with the county.
We're slowly moving there. I mean, I think we're trying to push it too fast. So when we get to a point where we're ready to do ALS, I'll go back to her and it'll be less than 100,000. There probably won't be any problem. Her problem really was whether a contract was going to be renewed or whether they were going to offer one. And so she had other things on her mind. And they haven't given her a contract yet, but I think that's what's really on her mind. And then after that, we'll negotiate out. Everybody agrees that it's a great thing. We were just talking different years. I didn't realize they're already doing 19 and 20. And we're talking 18, 19. And so we'll work it out somewhere after the first of the year. and we'll be ready for them
Right.
at that time.
We still needed to make those full-time positions, so we
Yeah,
have the
absolutely.
stability in our
Correct.
department.
And we are hiring paramedics with this
Yeah.
group. So this will be the first batch of medics, and we can work towards clearances and things like that while we're trying to get the dollar amounts and everything worked out. Yeah.
Let me ask a question. So in the overtime for 18-19, you've got 37,000 basically,
Yes.
and we have a lot of subs, part-timers.
Correct.
Now in the budget coming up, they're all full-time, but the overtime is dramatically higher.
Yes.
You're gonna have to explain that to me because I don't understand how.
Double the amount of full-time people, double the amount of overtime.
Okay.
Well,
So what,
That-
it's built in overtime. It's built in as part of their salary. They work, so we work a short week-long week schedule. So we don't get the fire department doesn't get overtime until after 106 hours. So they get 238 hours of built-in overtime a year, which is part of their salary.
I get that.
And this also includes their holiday pay. So that's where that comes in.
If they work holiday, if they work holiday, it's time and a half.
Right,
So it's overtime.
And currently, the staff we have now with the part-timers, there's 2 people per day that don't get overtime, the way it's currently configured.
I remember that you had a built-in overtime as part of the
Yeah.
salary, so
Mhm.
it just seemed like it was.
Right.
But if you look at the actuals, they're high. But see, he always balances whether it's coming out of overtime
Mhm.
or
Okay.
regular salaries, and they always true up at the end of the year.
I mean, yeah, and realistically, if you look at the regular salary numbers, there's not even that drastic of an increase in regular salaries because that money was already budgeted. If we actually weren't doing the adjustments or the raises, you would actually seen a little bit of a reduction in regular with the increase in overtime salaries. It's the same money, we just had to recategorize it in different spots.
And with part-time, you never know what you get, like a box of chocolates.
Oh, it is.
I don't think there's a question as far as going to the full-time. I think everybody here would agree that that is a better quality
Mhm.
type of product that we're going to be able to, or service that we're going to be able to provide. I don't think that's an issue. I just, you had to remind me of the built-in overtime. That was, I'd forgotten.
I was giving you a hard time.
Well, the gray hair allows that. No, I'd forgotten about the built-in part.
But I mean, yeah, theoretically, if you wanted to look at it as a whole, you could take the built-in and the regular and their salaries, and there's a little bit in there for training time and overages. There's call holdovers where a call comes out at 6 in the morning and they're there until 8 by the time shift change and things like that. So there is a little bit built in there, but historically, unless we get a big hurricane, things along those lines, we tend to really try to stay within these parameters that are set.
I don't have an outlay page on the machinery and fire, this $15,525.
Those are for new air pack bottles, for the air packs we've been receiving from the state on grant. Purchase the air packs, they don't come with the spare bottles that we required and need, so that's where that
thank you.
money's for.
So where are you as far as the hiring?
Internal posting went out yesterday. It'll run for 5 days. I've got one part-timer in-house right now that's a paramedic that doesn't work anywhere else. It's actually retired. That's entertaining the idea right now. Next week, it should go out and hit the paper. Okay, so it's going in this Thursday. I think it's already on the website too.
It is.
So we should start seeing applications next week. I'm already getting phone calls wanting to know when it's opening, so.
You'll be ready, come October 1st, boom.
I look to, I'd say by middle of September, start pulling applications, start calling for interviews, start getting everything going. Probably by the end of October, I'd say we'd start seeing them rolling online. If they have another job somewhere else, we're going to have to give 2 weeks notice. Some are going to be required to give 30-day notice, so we're going to have to work around that as well. So the goal is to at least have our 6 picked out by October 1st, getting drug tests, physicals, backgrounds, all that good stuff done, and be rolling into getting them on board and moving forward. And kind of, in all honesty, to slow down with the issue with the county's kind of helped us a little bit too, because it's going to give us a chance to orientate them to the fire side first, to get them up to snuff to where we're at. And some of them, if they've been on the ambulance for a long time, they're going to be a little farther behind on the fire skills. So it'll give us a little bit of chance to get them caught up, and then we can roll right into it.
So the revised one, obviously, we needed, this is the one you gave us. It's different from the other one.
Yes, that's the revised one that's on the
I got you. Okay. I just hate for you to have to be able to sit down so quickly. Just,
Want you to stand here for a
As
I just
while.
want you to, I just want you to stand there.
We're due to get about 1.25 inches of rain this week. The river's going down, so flooding's not much of a concern at this point.
Was up.
It was. We were minor flood stage there for about a week, which is going to bleed right into your water.
Well, I was just going to
discussion.
say, that's going to be perfect with my
That'll be Rodney's problem.
Anybody else have any questions? So we're good to go, and let's just say this, so you've got the 6. What do you anticipate? There again, maybe you said it, and I apologize, under the ALS thing. Where should we look at? I mean citizen comes up and asks us about the deal, and go, hey, man, what do we tell
I
them?
would tell you January or February. That's when I'm going to have a conversation with the county manager and say, okay, we're all ready.
I mean, our contract opens in January anyhow with the county. We're due for
Right.
renewal. So they were, like Mr. Booth said, they're just different years. They're for it. So I look for the 18 or 19-20 or 19 through 22 budget to be set and good to go. It's just going to be a matter of what everything gets worked out this year and coming back with an adjustment. We'll be pretty much ready, set, go, I'd say by January.
Okay.
Just waiting to push buttons
Just
and
we'll
make
go
things.
answer questions if when asked, that's all.
Yeah, all our pieces of the puzzle are done. It's just going to be a matter of that extra funding source so we can buy the equipment and push play.
Because we're already in contract with the overseer of that, correct?
We have a contract with Shands. We have not executed that contract because it was $8,000 and we were waiting to execute it October 1, but we're going to wait until we get the funding to push that forward.
Okay,
He
and
was
then
the-
we'll go through.
That was
this.
Dr. Jones. That
He
was
was at the meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
And Shands is aware of what's going on. There's no changes with any of that. Dollar amount's still the same. Everybody that we've already talked to, got working with the ALS stuff, knows we're just on a temporary hold. So it's just a matter of hit and send on everything and then moving forward, waiting for stuff to come in.
Okay.
Unless you've got $125,000 somewhere in that packet you want to donate to the cause.
Okay.
I'm teasing, of course, but that's.
I could give you
No,
some of Jenny's
seriously.
election money. I've been trying to give that
You were
away.
joking.
Yeah.
I know there's something new.
All right.
So
So we'll go to water and sewer.
Or do you want to just go ahead and finish the cemetery and the impact of our collection?
Sure.
No, I'd rather have David and them sit around.
Okay.
So the cemetery, I'll do real quick. That's the just selling of the lots. It is pretty much just a revenue thing. It does have its own fund, and we have a ordinance that says it has to maintain a certain fund balance, which I believe, Jenny, am I correct in saying 125? And it's, you know, it basically, I think we've only spent money a little bit last year when we had a little mishap over at the cemetery. We had to put out some money, not mentioning any names or anything, but, so, that's kind of just an in and out. We put, you know, there is a transfer to the general fund because anytime there's a fund outside the general fund that does the administrative part of it,
Right.
there is a transfer, so
Right.
that's what that is.
Revenue support is not down a little bit because people are coming in and with the price of the cemetery services, they'll say, you know, I'll just because they don't understand. The revenue will really slow down. And
Say what?
we're almost at cemetery. We're very limited on expanding also because of the rock underneath. And it's freezing. It's freezing.
Right.
So when you say that and you look at the operating and you sit there and you say you've got the cemetery fees the same as last year, but you've only collected 2,800. So I
It's
mean,
always a wash. So we get pretty much whatever we put down. And it had been higher, but like Jenny said, we went up on the fees, and they're just people, in general, I think, are getting cremated more.
so what happens when the lots are done? Where does the money come then to keep it maintained if you're not selling fees?
It would
anymore?
come from your fund balance, and that's something I'll have to look up.
Because that's obviously what you're saying could be fairly
Well,
soon.
I think at some point we'd have to decide, is it cost effective for us to open more? Because it may not be. We may put out $50,000 because there's rock and all that to open it up, and we'll never get that money back.
No. However, we do own the land under the BMX track. With that cemetery.
Bury them underneath the track?
Yeah,
They could do
just-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some.
We could.
I guess. No, I'm just, on the deal, I assume if the fees don't come in, then obviously some mechanism would have to be to allocate whatever funds is needed to
But
maintain it.
There's the fund balance in, because the cemetery over the years has made money.
Okay.
So there is fund, to a certain extent, but there also is an ordinance in place that says that the city must maintain a certain fund balance.
Right.
So, I'll look into that and give y'all an update.
Probably will be in
Yeah,
years
I mean, it's,
before.
yeah, I don't see it coming here, but I think that's something you need to look at, because whatever it's gonna cost you, if you don't have the money coming in and you got the fund balance, it's gotta stay at a certain amount, somehow you're gonna have to transfer money in
Mm-hmm.
to do it. Okay.
The next one is the impact fees.
Thank you.
The impact fees, we are looking to have, quite a few people come on next year, yay. So it's, it's kind of a guesstimate, but we right now actually are getting a lot of people that are signing their promissory notes. Actually, more than 50%, I would say, have signed their promissory notes in phase 1A1. But then we have the second one coming on. So, and basically, we've already got money set aside for the transfer. You'll see on page 2, transfer to sewer fund. Oh, I didn't change the impact. So, the contingency money there is going to be transferred to the sewer to pay that bond payment for Mr. Booth. And I need to adjust that transfer.
So this sewer contingency of 261,324?
Yeah,
Is
and
that-
actually we can take, there's actually one, Ashley can take something like that. It's been putting money away for her.
And that's going to go to the bond payment?
Yeah, and we'll
Okay.
see that in the sewer.
Okay.
Get to sewer. Because he's had, Mr. Booth has had all the sewer impact fees, when he had the study done, so now that now that he's got the 2 neighborhoods in place, he's switching. Plus, we did just get, $50,000 for Camp Colaqua from Swanee River for impact fees, and then they gave, Camp Colaqua has to pay another $5,000. So we've got over $400,000 in the bank account. So,
And that includes the expenditure we made for the engineering on the new, didn't we authorize that's
yeah,
in
that
this?
won't hit until probably December-ish.
Okay,
No, probably next year,
okay.
Yeah, because that's the.
February, March timeframe,
Right,
yeah.
and that's when there's a lot of things going on that we'll have to have a budget in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they
Okay.
have a lot of projects going on right now. And
I
know
just
they
don't
got
want
the-
you to be spending her money that she needs to
No,
pay that guy.
We've already
I know.
talked, so we got that.
Okay.
So any questions about the impact? And then basically, we don't spend any of the money unless we're gonna do, wait a minute, we're gonna do engineering for something.
270,000.
Sewage treatment
That-
expansion.
The impact study.
Yeah, that's right. But that won't happen
Until next summer.
next
And
summer.
that's to draw the sewer impact fee to a conclusion,
Dump the water.
and then look at going and switching over, because you have to stop, and you have to spend what's in the sewer, right, by the way it was originally written, so we can't keep collecting.
That
it.
is correct.
So we're gonna have to switch it and then start directing our attention more towards Water lines.
Right. So, speaking of water, let's go to
Yes.
water.
Anybody have any questions on the impact?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, I have Jennifer, David, and Rodney all up here.
Brought in the big gun.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So, one of the things that, we bumped some of the revenues up, but overall, they didn't go up, but 4,000 on the revenue side. Being a little conservative on the meter installations, I brought that back in line to what it was, to what it actually is. So, on that, and then on the salary piece,
Go back to the cutoff charges for water.
okay,
I mean, you got 29 now, so you'll meet it's 30, and you're going up 11,000.
mm-hmm.
So I don't understand the cutoff
It's-
charges. I mean,
It's
is that?
just cut off. The more customers you get, the more money you're going to, more people that aren't going to pay, they're going to charge them cutoff fees.
She's cutthroat.
No. I mean, they either pay or they don't. I'm sorry.
That's
That's just a
But
concept,
it
foreign
is.
concept.
It's like,
Right.
we've had people say, well, I don't understand why you can give us a late fee. I said, you pay a late fee on your house payment. Well, yeah, but that's my house payment.
No, you're fine. I just thinking you're looking at 11,000. That's all. I mean, and that's an
That's
if
nothing.
okay. I see that jump. I just have to ask.
But I have to tell you that I lease properties out, and when you put late fees on, they pay you on time.
Yes, they do.
If they don't have late fees, they don't pay you on time.
Mhm.
And
So-
it helps too, with
Right.
credit cards.
They make it a priority if they're going to get a late fee.
So then on the second page on I actually had switched. I had put the dollar amount for the insurance and retirement and the retirement amount in life health. So, retirement should be 12,900 in your original one,
That's what it says.
They corrected on the new one.
Mhm.
Okay, so I just wanted to point that out, I apologize for that. All right, and then if you go to the next page,
Explain the lack of overtime for meter installation.
okay, I combined the two, so now instead of being 5 and 10, it's 15, that's all. The overtime's still there. You see, I did have it,
Okay, I got you. Okay.
got it?
Yep. Nope. You're good.
So, on the operating, so historically, if you look at the highlighted, the operating supplies, and you see how high it is, 38,000, that was year to date, that included all of the testing that Rodney has to do. And we wanted to show, one, it needs to be its own line because it's quite a bit of money. It also lets the citizens know we are doing a lot of water testing and showing to make sure everything is good. So water testing is now up there highlighted. We've got $27,000, and we will have spent about that much this year. So then I dropped down the operating expenses, we pulled it out. And then you'll notice there's no transfer to the sewer fund.
Say what?
No transfer to the sewer fund.
And there's still 149,000 in contingency, plus we have 50,000 in new meters. If all goes well, and then we want to probably double that and put 100,000 in meters, because the sooner we get all the new meters in,
Better off.
one, time to read your revenues, because there's all those old meters, they don't really work. People are, they get a new meter, they're real jumps.
There was a deal a while back when we had it, the people were coming in and they were complaining because they were actually having to pay a water bill. And the meters weren't working, so they weren't getting any usage. They were just paying the base rate, and the meter wasn't charging any
They were
usage.
probably getting, and you know how
Right.
it is when your meter isn't working? Oh, I got away for 1 month, this month I'm gonna water more.
But it just
or-
becomes, yeah, but I'm just saying
Right.
that was one of the things,
Yeah.
where there was no meter, it wasn't running.
How many meters do we still have left to replace?
I would
Probably about
say,
900.
900 that are.
The old one,
That are
old
old, that are
ones.
manual reads. And then they're always like change outs or, there's a group of meters that they radio read, but they're old radio reads. So I'm, say, 1,200.
Yeah.
And how much will 50,000 buy you?
They're $180 a meter.
How many do we have total meters in the city?
How many total? 20.
21,
Yeah,
23.
23, almost
23
2,400.
something.
Thank you.
And we're getting one up there on sewer customers. I think what did we say? We're up to 16. Did we say we're almost 1,600?
No, I thought we said,
1,400.
no, 18.
Maybe 6.
No, you didn't want to count the gravity feed.
How many?
250 with the 50,000, so you could potentially maybe add another 250 if the budget, if the income.
If everything goes, and you got to remember, the water guys don't just do meters.
Yeah.
Right.
Really, we should touch the meters every 5 years, but there's not a city or municipality that does it every 5 years. But after that 5-year period, your meter starts not working in our favor anymore.
The people that we've been talking to,
But we stay on top of the ones that we're changing out now.
and we're looking at a new meter. Mr. Booth and the three of us met with and they are from the United States. They're local. They're Texas built, and they actually came and did a demonstration for the water guys, and they're like, when can we go? Because they put them all over town, and they give you the laptop in it. So when you look at it, all of the meters are red, and as you go by, they turn green. So you know which ones you've missed. It's cool.
And what's the
And there's
cost
less
on
training
those?
too, so if David decided to fire all of us and he was the only one and they had to have commissioners read meters, you guys could
We could
actually
do it.
read them because they put it
Yeah, and it's
right
got
on
a
top of the
GPS.
meter.
Even Mayor
within a couple
Jameson?
Yeah.
Alright.
That's
So
happening
Give
in
them
some.
flares and let 'em
Be
run.
ready, Scott.
But it is, and so they run. The price runs right about the same total.
Okay.
They want to be the first ones in, us to be the first ones in Florida. So they're really pushing to giving us discounts, stuff like that.
Well, they're again, not to do it, these are things that I think weren't addressed for a lot of years. And so I want to say for you guys who are doing it, I don't know how much, and I've asked this question, you can't do it. How much revenue have we lost over the years because of malfunctioning, non-functioning meters, not picking up solid waste, paying for it?
Hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
Hundreds of thousands,
But
he's
this
exactly
is,
right.
this is things that you don't see. It's
Right.
not something that's a new building. People don't see it. But it's what drives the city, because this is where your revenue comes. and-
This is one of the most important things the city's.
I tell you,
Has as far as
where
revenue.
you've seen it is the transfer to the general fund. When I got here, I don't remember, but I would say it was in the ballpark of $200,000. It's going to be being transferred out of water on top of, out of general fund to the sewer fund to help pay that.
Plus water fund.
Plus water fund. And now water fund has grown, that it pushed, general fund took over that payment, and now with sewer and us doing this one payment, I really, which I feel like we will continue adding all those customers on, that we won't have to go back to the water fund. Because you'll see in the sewer fund, we have contingency money. But, all right, well, we'll finish.
So when we do that water line project over 6th Street West, will meters be replaced when those water lines are replaced? No, the meters
just-
don't get replaced.
No, just the water lines. But we'll probably have to potentially, when we got the last CDBG, we did have a match, we had to put some money in, and then the contract, because of the rock, went over, so we had to put in about $125,000 to $150,000.
Right.
But we got
You got the money there to do it?
the
Okay.
$700,000 from the state
True.
Okay.
to do it,
And
yes.
cutoffs. However bad the sewer lines are, in some areas, we have absolutely no cutoff. So that when we have a water break, it affects everybody in town. Where we can isolate it within a block, now it affects everybody. And we have emptied that water tank many times. Okay, to the sewer, which is,
Any questions on water?
And you shouldn't say so much.
I'm sorry.
yeah, I know. So,
Well, I'm happy to report to you, every 3 years, DEP comes and does a sanitary survey, and they did ours today, and we had no discrepancies. They checked paperwork, cleanliness, everything. We flew through. Perfect. Yeah. That's not just me, that's a lot of help from David and the guys, too.
Okay, any more questions on water? Okay.
sewer.
Okay, so on the front page of sewer, you see where there's a transfer in from the impact fees for the $333,000. And what that part is you can use impact fees, once we got the bonds, you can use money from impact fees after a certain date. So we have 2003 and we have 2009 bonds. We can pay impact fees with 2009. We can pay the 2009 bond payment with the impact fees. So that's why because normally, our bond payment's about $450.
That's where that money's going, taking the impact fees to pay that.
Yes. And so,
How was it paid, what was it paid with before?
pardon?
What was it paid with before?
It was paid with water fund.
No, I know, I just
general
want to
fund.
Yeah.
Right, and we have to use this because the impact fees.
Well, we don't have anything more any more projects.
Right.
He's using the money to pay for projects. So,
And from the state auditor, you can't use general fund or water fund. You must either raise your rates so that you can pay the bond or else.
Right. No, I get that, I just want to make sure for the massive crowd,
yeah.
Well,
for
yeah.
the dollar amount.
So we bumped revenues because we are anticipating, we've got Camp Calaqua is on. That's probably $50,000 a year in sewer in itself. And then we were kind of conservative till we get the lines on. And I believe they're starting
Next month.
Right.
next month.
You're talking about the gravies.
Yes. So every month, starting, really, if they're starting next month, potentially. Well, some of them start like in October.
It'll probably be around, maybe October, maybe.
That some people will start being online.
Yeah, that's right.
So the revenues will start coming in. Yeah, the sewer connections, we kind of went down because a lot of the people are getting connections for free because of the grant is paying for it. So, and grinder pumps, we've been.
The repairs, JC, the repairs, that's us going out, finding something's wrong, and then we're charging. That's just right, that's where that's coming. So obviously, if you sit there and you had 2,000, you've got 6,600, you put in 9,000, there again, we go out there, we see that it's human error on the deal, and this is what we're charging for. And once again, prior to 2 years ago, maybe we were eating everything regardless of the deal. We ate the cost.
Yes, sir. The repairs depend on the damage of the pump. So every repair has a different price. If it's just a stator, it's about $150 to $200, and if it's other deals with rags, that's the main thing, baby wipes. Those are the ones that destroy our pumps real bad because it gets behind the cutting wheel and it messes up the seal. Now water gets into the motor, and we have to eat a $1,500 pump.
But we were eating the cost of
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In the past.
And not only were we eating the cost of it from not charging the customer, but we were paying, who was the company?
E1.
E1. $90 an hour in labor
Yeah,
costs.
and I know
Yes, sir.
When we did it, and we got you on there, I know.
Yes, sir. That's where I came in and we rebuilt them.
Right, okay, I just, we're going through this, and I know I'm sort of sounding like a broken record.
We actually saved quite a bit of money by us doing the rebuilding.
Yes.
Oh.
We send them out, oh my
It was
God.
$2,500 to send it out or something, wasn't it? If we
Oh,
sent it out to
yeah.
repair
That's
that,
what it
about
used to be.
$2,500.
Yeah, it wasn't under warranty, that's normally what it came back at.
Yeah,
If it wasn't under warranty, oh my God.
I know.
okay, I just,
Now, the condition of the sewer plant, it is the best in the state, according to DEP and everyone else.
We actually had an
Well
inspection today
maintained.
with DEP and it passed flying
Yeah.
colors.
did we, the additional generator thing, David, remember when we had the deal over at the plant, we got the additional, remember, we were gonna.
That was a pump. That wasn't a
Oh,
generator.
I apologize.
It's a pump, not a
So we have the
generator. We
extra
have a
one?
generator.
Yes, you talk about the lift station.
Yeah, lift station. is
Yes,
what I'm
we
saying.
have an extra pump.
So you got the extra one as far as.
It's sitting right at the yard under the building.
Under the building.
Okay, I just,
If we have an emergency, we have an extra pump that within a couple of hours, we can get the city back up running.
okay.
We do.
You're done, Rodney, you're done.
That's right, I'm sorry.
So, you'll see now that the sewer has contingency funds of $170,000. I don't know that in your lifetime or mine that that's ever had contingency funds.
What page is it?
That would be the third page.
170 grand?
Yeah. Now, the thing that we have to remember is for all those many, many years, there was a loss to the sewer. So the fund balance, I know y'all like, it's negative, okay? Because we've had these losses year after year after year. So we want to try to start, yes, do projects, but maybe put a little bit back every year
In
just,
case there's an emergency.
right, just to give the fund balance.
Right.
Because, when people look at your city, they look at your how stable you are financially. And, we're in pretty good shape, but we don't want to have any negatives.
No.
So,
I have some questions on the expense side. The repair and maintenance of the grinder pumps, we're currently at $42,730 and we're only budgeting $35.
because that is we had a hurricane.
Okay, those were hurricane numbers.
Yep.
Okay,
And
okay.
we potentially have 56,000 coming from FEMA.
FEMA,
That's gonna buy some more grinder pump.
And I mean,
As soon as we
it's,
get that FEMA check.
we can have some spare pumps. We can have some spare
when
pumps.
we get actually there's two checks because how FEMA does it. I will announce it to the world because this has been going on for almost a year, the paperwork.
So how about the operating supplies? It's at $45,692 and we're only budgeting $20
That's the same thing, a lot of stuff from the hurricane.
from the hurricane.
Yes.
Okay. And then the operating supplies, new grinder stations also, what we're allotting is about $7,000 less than where we're at right now.
But that kind of, will offset,
Offsets
on the revenue
Like
side.
Cinnamon Hills, because that's for new installs. if I'm not
Okay,
mistaken.
so that's coming in on the
Yeah,
front
that'll
side.
come on the
Yes.
front side.
So you're hoping to get more?
Right, and potentially, well, not potentially, we do have contingency that we can fall back on,
Okay.
and that's what that would be for.
Okay.
Where's the, just explain the contractual service, 35,000, we
That
paid
is,
4,000, just,
That's our sewer plant operator.
That's the operator.
Twofold engineering.
so we didn't need them.
Yes.
But you budgeted 35, you only spent 4,200.
No, that ain't it then.
Contractual services.
Oh, that was the old GRU. That was when they were hauling it off.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's when they were hauling the sludge.
Okay.
So now we got that dry box.
No, we got
Yeah, I know.
it.
That was GRU.
Okay. I remember
And that's
when we-
where I put that stuff
That's
every day.
Watson.
Okay,
That's Watson.
okay.
It's a lot,
Whoever,
it's a lot cheaper now than having
yeah.
you haul it
This is
away,
where we
believe me.
try it, we put it into, and we,
When it gets filled up,
They pick it up and haul
every
it
week
out.
and a half, or so, we
that
call
makes-
it,
Okay, I remember.
and they haul it away, instead of 2 or 3 times a
Right.
week.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's working pretty good.
okay.
You want to hear from Ross?
No,
No. Okay.
any questions?
Thank you, JC.
We got some good stuff out there.
You what?
So we got some good stuff.
Yes.
We got it.
We do. We got the best according to Watson.
Yeah.
Oh, we got solid waste.
Solid waste.
Yeah.
Still need,
I was going without the budget.
Yeah.
I didn't bring all three up.
You will not do it.
No, I'm up here with you.
Solid waste, just because we're getting more customers, is basically when we went up. It also includes, we had a commercial increase, so that'll be annualized over the next year. So that's kind of part of it as well. And then penalties and all of that just fall into new business. Then your staffing pattern didn't really change. It's pretty much, it's just, the increase is just the raised part of that percentage. And then the fees. So we increased the fees because I think we were a little bit under budget. And we did an audit of all the fees and with WCA and also with all of what was being picked up on their list versus our list and the commercial, but there was a lot of discrepancy. Anyway, we've got that. We've kind of got a system down with WCA. They will be coming to, I think it's going to be the first meeting in September, to talk about a contract extension. I will tell you that Mr. Booth and I have put in some penalties for things that happened, which was not in the last contract. So you forget a street, that chance Friday, you forget it, $300. So
Kind of like a late fee, they'll pay.
Yeah, they will, and they're not
Or
going to raise.
non-service.
The difference in it, they will not raise the rates. They will just, the CPI in the contract says, if we choose to give them a CPI, we give it currently at, I think, 0.7, and we would go to whatever the CPI is, which usually, right now, it's been like 1 to 2% would be what they get. We have not had to raise residential rates. Still, they've been, huh? Oh, I'm going on my 5th year here, and we've not raised them since I've been here. So I think it's going on maybe 7. Jenny, you might have a better idea. 7 years, 6 or 7 years since we've raised residential rates. So, any questions on solid waste?
What are we doing as far as identifying? Are we still identifying homes that are being charged?
Oh yeah, we do. That's an ongoing thing. We find out and we just call WCA and have them deliver a garbage can. He'll go, I have a garbage can out in front of my house. I said, yeah, you're going to use it and we're going to bill you.
And now if it ain't in one of their cans, they don't pick it up anymore.
No, but that we don't want them to because we don't know. Because then they would we don't want them charging us and us not getting the revenue.
What I was just talking about is they were actually picking people up.
Right.
They weren't on our rolls. We were paying
Yes.
WCA,
And
but getting nothing. Those are the ones that we were trying to identify,
Right.
the ones who were actually getting picked up.
We're doing a quarterly. We just dump it our file to an CSV file and export it over them, and then they kind of can do a little comparison. So yeah, we've
found quite a few of them.
I just think that again, that and the water meters not working, so it would just be stunning how much revenue that the other citizens have subsidized.
Yes. And you talked about sewer being subsidized by a few. Now you've got.
But garbage is really, you get a lot of use out of the $17 you pay.
Yes. $19.50.
$19 you pay. I mean, that's all month. You get to throw away everything. And your yard waste, when they pick it up, And so we're going to start finding them, but.
No, we've got one of the things that we're gonna put in the contract, provision is when they go, you have yard waste out,
Mhm.
and they come to pick it up and it's not in compliance. If they don't tag it and let us know,
Right.
well, we don't have it it's not in the contract now, but there'll be repercussions to them. So the driver has to tag it and let
Let us know.
that it's out of compliance, because we get people, well, I saw the guy look,
And he kept on
but
going.
he kept on going. Well, it's out of compliance, and, we're gonna make sure that the compliance, although we have sent the compliance out, but we're gonna do a little sheet to remind all, and probably put it out on the web, for sure put it on the web, and keep it out there.
Well, it needs to go,
It needs to stay out there,
Mhm.
yes.
You know, just like you have the do's and don'ts on Grindr, which is out there all the time,
Yeah.
which I think is really good.
Except some
That-
people
that
said they
needs to be
swear
posted.
they've never heard of that in their life.
Right.
Or they've never put a baby wipe down, and you can just see there's hundreds of them.
Excuse me, are they not biodegradable? I mean,
Flushable? No, not,
They,
do not.
they say on the
Even-
package that. not
Even the
to-
flushable ones will tear the grinder pumps up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have it on bright yellow paper. So a new customer
Mhm.
gets it, and it's,
No
do not.
reading.
I have a question about the commercial garbage. So as a commercial business owner, when I own my own business, I put out my one bag of trash a week. Couldn't put my recyclables, couldn't put my yard trash from cleaning up the yard over there. I think we need to explore that, because commercial pays a substantial amount, and we want these people to take care of their properties. But I used to have to load it in the truck and drive it to my house and put it in front of my house. Okay, because
They don't, that and never
I
done it.
think because, now, and actually, I think that's open market. And does that sound right? I think that it's, anybody can go out for, I'll find out.
I
And actually,
I
will-
understand if I had a tree company come and take down a tree, I don't expect them to do that. That's a different situation. But regular maintenance on a commercial piece of property, mowing the yard, trimming the hedges, whatever, should be inclusive. And then recycling. I carry recyclables home in my little laundry basket with my linens daily and put them in my bins at the house, because we don't get recycling at the business.
We can,
It'd just be something I'd like to explore,
well,
okay?
they can, when he's
When they're here,
I think
you
that
can
would be a
certainly
great,
ask.
Okay.
there you all can just
Okay.
give them a hard time. That's
No.
what we do all the time.
One of the biggest things, and you brought it up, is that they'll get a contractor, and the contractor expects the city to pick it up. And I can't tell you how many times I said, listen, dude, you take this stuff off.
Yeah, we have
Right,
to-
if it
Of course,
was-
they already
if
say,
it-
who are you?
They cut the price.
If it
down.
was limited to a cubic amount or something, it would be a reasonable amount
Yes.
for, ongoing maintenance,
I think they say 4x4, but these are large trees.
Right, no,
and they're-
I've seen that. I know
know.
what you're talking about. I'm
Yeah.
not asking about that.
Yeah. Any other questions?
The money that we discussed for the road repair, will you be giving us an updated budget that shows that in the last
Oh,
meeting?
yeah, because you have, this is just workshop.
Okay.
So actually, that budget that Jenny's got up there already has it in there.
Okay,
But you have first reading will be September 13th. That gives you the budget with all the things that we've
Okay.
talked about.
okay.
And then the second reading, which you can still change to the second reading, will be on the 21st, am I?
Where are you
Yeah, 'cause
getting
it
that
bumped
from?
up.
24th. Huh?
Where
Yeah,
you
it
be?
bumped to that Monday or something. It
Yeah.
bumped earlier.
Yeah, yeah, so it goes from Thursday, because it's got to be within 10 days.
Right,
Okay.
Thursday till Monday or something.
Could you explain the parks thing too, because Ross is sitting out there and I know he asked me about that, the parks
parks person?
administration person.
All right, so what we were understanding, Mr. Booth and I understood, was that we would help Robert administratively without adding any new employees so we have a couple of people in mind that when Robert has a project, but even talking to Robert, it's not so much administratively. It's what he told me, but, I can't think what day.
Well, he'll have
Yeah.
they do registration downstairs, but he'll have like the soccer, when all the soccer fields are going, he'll need registration. And I'll grab somebody here, whether it's the building department or downstairs, or even the fire department, and they will assist him for a few days to get that project over with. So every time he really needs somebody, he will get them.
But yeah, he did mention that it wasn't so
So we
much
all work together
administrative
here,
work,
actually.
that, you know, but we, you know,
Yeah.
we today work with getting the Wild Spaces grant together so we could send that off to the county.
Sure.
And as Robert said, we're farther ahead than anybody. We're requesting $239,000 plus money back that we spent that they're giving us.
We just want to make sure on the position thing, not to do whatever, that Robert is okay with it. And if a bump in the road occurs, that we have a contingency plan to take care of it. And I just want to make, just
Yeah,
saying, I just want to
we
make sure.
talked the very next morning about it,
Right.
and
I got that.
anything administratively, it'll happen.
Okay, I mean, that was a big concern, I know, with some that, in the registrations, and we did it. I mean, I have no issue with doing it, but if an issue, then we need to be able to prepare to go to the next step, like we discussed.
We do that a lot.
It is roadblock.
Right, it's with the sod. When he had a sod problem, we had David and his group over there. So Robert gets taken care of a lot, and he does a lot for us. I mean, he is spending money like nobody's brother.
But he's really good at keeping track of it, which I
And
really
he keeps
appreciate.
track of it, yeah.
Yeah, because we have certain reporting requirements.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
Any other comments? Questions? Do I have a motion to close the workshop?
I will make that motion.
So moved. Have a good evening.